Welcome to Being at Home with George on the road. And I'm excited to be here. And I'd like to begin as we normally begin. And of course, I'm in a different setting. And once again, just developing this possibility, creating this possibility of being able to say yes to life and generate the hope so that we can show up and show out. This week, I'd like to talk about my new book that was released on May 2nd, Tuesday, and it's called Unlocked. Embrace your greatness, find the flow, discover success. Yes.
So George, tell us about Unlocked. What is Unlocked? What does that mean? What's the title of the book mean?
What does unlock mean? Unlock means that we're unlocked, we're free to express ourselves, we're free to let things flow. So being unlocked is to be able to flow and to let the flow go where it needs to go. I like to use the analogy of the dimmer switch on the light, a light switch, the dimmer light switch. And unlock means instead of being all the way down, even though the light is it's on, but it's very dim, being able to move that lever up so that you can let more light shine. And so being unlocked is being able to uh, be able to express ourselves freely or to let things flow, whether it's turning on a water faucet or whatever. It's like letting our masterpiece express itself specifically.
George, you talk a lot about the fact that we have a divine spark, but it's encrusted in a shell, and then you talk about what our job is. Can you talk about that concept and where that concept came from?
Yes. So Martin Buber's The Way of Man, he talks about that we all have a divine spark that's encrusted in a shell, and that our job is to release that divine spark or to break out or to, to release the divine spark. And he says that we have a system of hideouts. So that means that this is self imprisonment, really, that we have a system of hideouts. And the idea is that once we accept the fact that we are hiding out, then we can begin to chip away to let that masterpiece express itself. The best analogy I can use for that is a caterpillar going into a chrysalis, and while it's in the chrysalis, it has to break out. It has to be unlocked, and the process of struggling to get out gives it the strength it needs to fly. And so that's same with us is even though it's a challenge to break out and it takes effort and struggle, but at the same time, when we are unlocked, then we have the freedom and the power to fly or to do what we say we want to do.
Is unlocking a one-time thing? Is it a lifetime journey? Is it something that happens every day? Talk about that.
It's all the above. So you can unlock for a moment, and we had that experience. I'll give you an example of that we all have the experience of losing something and looking for something. And then once we stop looking for it, then we find it. And so there's something about us getting out of the way, our constructs, our perceptions, our concepts that get in the way. And once we can get beyond that, then we're able to unlock. And so we can unlock a moment to moment and one moment, or we can have a little flow or have a period of time when we're unlocked and we just have this effortless effort where things are just happening or things are in alignment with what we want to do. And then there's times when we're not unlocked, we're locked up. And so the thing is that we can go from moment to moment being locked to unlocked. And the main thing is knowing when we're locked, knowing when we're unlocked, and knowing how to go from unlocked to locked, and knowing how we go from being unlocked to being locked again.
So it sounds like it's both an in the moment thing and a lifetime journey.
It's an in the moment thing and it's a lifetime journey. And I have to remember that the only time we have is now. So moment to moment, whether it's a continuation of being unlocked or just being unlocked for one moment, it's really helpful to just be in the moment and to just be able to continue to unlock, to flow.
George, why did you write a second book? You have The Mindful Athlete, which people love. It's a classic. It's considered one of the great books in its genre. Why write a second book?
The reason I wrote a second book because I had something to say and I wanted to go deeper and I wanted to share more of my experience, strength, and hope. And also, I really want people to get the fact that everybody's able to unlock. You don't have to be an athlete, but we need to understand that even though a lot of us are not athletes, we are running the marathon of life. And to be able to run a marathon, we have to train like an athlete trains to run a marathon. So even though we're not athletes, and even athletes, they got to be a mindful person to be a mindful athlete. So I wanted to make this process available to others, and also going a little bit deeper. And because I know more now, I can share more now.
Awesome. Yeah, and definitely in this book, you get more personal. You tell more of your own story in this book. I feel like it goes deeper into your story. Can you talk about that?
Yes. So there was more of a willingness for me to be more vulnerable and to share more of my experience. And because I wrote that Mindful Athlete 8 years ago, and I learned so much just talking to people about it, that I wanted to be able to share that new knowledge because I feel like I'm not the same person I was 8 years ago. I'm not even the same person I was last week. But this idea of learning for learning's sake, the love of learning, learning to love, that's something that if I want to learn it, I have to teach it. And so teaching it and giving it away, and I get to keep it.
Awesome. What's it been like for you this week to see the new book out into the world?
What's it like for me to see the new book out in the world? It's interesting because going back to when I was young, when I was a kid, actually, I was always fascinated with the fact that when Christmas came, the day before Christmas, we were excited and we're excited for Christmas. But sometimes I'm not feeling excited on Christmas, or I'm sick, or something happens. So for me, it's embracing this idea of every day being an opportunity to be excited and enthusiastic about life. And so I'm excited about the new book, but I'm excited every day. And that's my approach is to wake up every day with as a new beginning and being in joy. And I know that sounds kind of Pollyannish or hawkish, but that's my concern is to make every day my masterpiece, make every day a day that I can be excited and enthusiastic about. So yes, I appreciate my book and I'm glad it's out, but it's not a big expansion or an expanse of me just wanting to be happy because my motto has been for the last several years, joy now and never. So I'm gonna have joy whether the book comes out or not, but the book comes out and I feel like that's more of an expression of my joy rather than the cause.
Awesome. You just did another podcast interview this morning, and we were talking a lot about flow. Find the flow, and the logo is kind of a swirl, some energy, and I feel like flow is really the center. Everything else comes out of flow. How do you start to find your flow? What's that about?
I started to begin to find my flow when I started from the inside out and getting clear about what it is I want to do and who do I need to be to do what I need to do, but also to be willing to see things as they are and then just to go with the flow, if you will. And so recently we had this post from Marcus Aurelius that said, "What's in the way becomes the way." That's flow. So when you're in flow, it's like being doing improv. Whatever is given, you have to go with it. So improv or improvisation doesn't work if you say something, you offer something to me, and I refuse it, and I change it to something else. I have to be able to go with what's there, and then flow with that.
What do you think is the most important thing that you talk about or write about in Unlocked that you didn't cover in the Mindful Athlete? Like what's new in Unlocked?
That's interesting. I think sharing more of my personal experience, but I also think going deeper into the concepts. And I think that's a matter of my own maturity and my own investigation and my own experiences and experiences of others. I think that I continue to, and one of the interesting things about the discovery or the unlocked, I've read my book, The Mindful Athlete, over 50 times. And each time I read it, I got something else. And so it's really rich. And so that's like my teacher used to say, Sifu used to say, whole life. So it's a whole life of learning and taking simple concepts and going deeper with them. And so it's just this circular learning is what I call it. Keep looking at it, and it's like a reflection. And when we reflect on our experience, that's where the wisdom comes from. That's where the true understanding comes from. So it's just another way of reflecting and talking about this thing called life from the perspective of the masterpiece or the greatness within.
Awesome, man. What's one thing you would love for people to take away from Unlocked? You know, if they literally read the book and there's so many things they could take away, what's one thing you want them to take away?
They have the capacity to unlock, and that it's an inside job, and only they can do it until the degree that you're able to acknowledge that yes, I have this tremendous potential, this greatness within. It can be developed, it can be accessed, and only I can access it. It's an inside job, and to the degree that I access it, that will be expressed in my quality of life. So I'll be able to live life more fully, more creatively, to discover success. And to me, success is a progressive realization of a worthy ideal or goal. And the idea is, like I said, joy now or never, peace now or never, love now or never.
Awesome. That's a great way to wrap. Where can people find out more information?
So obviously, yes, you can find more information going to my website, georgemumford.com. And of course, the book is on sale at Amazon, Barnes and Nobles, and other places. And you can get a copy there. And of course, we have At Home with George every week, and there's more and more stuff. But to find out more, you just have to go to the website or go to YouTube. But if you go to the website, that'll take you to where you need to go. So thank you, and appreciate you. Love and blessings.